Uh, Thank you very much for inviting me, and good afternoon, everybody who are joining and listening to this one EQ 601. And I also thank all the speakers who will be talking in this session and sharing the experience. Uh, I don't have too much to say. I mean, you people are all intelligent enough to understand what is the situation. About the stress management and other things, I think that all the experts will be talking about. I can only talk about that the situation of the campus at this moment, and then what are our plans, and then how we will be going forward. As you know that during this pandemic situation, almost in December, we almost came actually to the normal, and then suddenly the peak in January, which is basically the third wave, and that actually stopped everything. However, by God's grace, we have controlled the whole situation, right? The situation in the campus is good. And in the COVID task force, we have actually decided to reboot again. So those who are in the campus, you all know that we have actually I myself and Associate Dean of Student Affairs, both of us went to BMC, tried to convince them about the quarantine situation, about the mental stress of the students, and finally they convinced and they have relaxed some of the rules which are basically applied to the other outside IIT Bombay campus. So, and all of you know that those who are in the campus, that right now the quarantine rules is that not sealing the building or sealing the floor. We will consider all the rooms as one residence, and according to the BMC rule, the residence should be sealed. So that student is always taking out from that hostel, because you are sharing the washrooms, which is very this particular third wave is very contagious, so that's why we have to take all the precautions. And the students who are not yet come to the campus, they will be coming to the campus very soon, the second year, as well as we are planning to bring the PG1 also. We'll let you know all this development one by one. Uh, the students, those who will be coming in the campus now, they don't have to go through the hard quarantine, which is basically is tough for the students. And we understand all the situations. So they will go to their own room, and then they will monitor themselves, and then we will try to bring the campus to the normalcy. But please understand one thing is that how whatever way we work, how hard we work, without your contribution, without your participation, it's very difficult. We make a policy, that's fine. The policy has to be implemented by you itself. You have to take care of yourself, not only yourself, but also the your colleagues, your lab mates, your classmates, all up, and your hostel mates. You have to take care of themselves. Uh, uh, anyway, things are turning out to be a little better. Although the Maharashtra, as you have yesterday, Maharashtra also had got almost like more than 40,000 cases. So we hope that outside the campus, the cases are rising, and sometimes it is decreasing. However, we think that our IIT campus is like a COVID bubble, and if we are inside the COVID bubble, we are safe. So try to make the COVID bubble the way that we are planning, and with your participation, we can actually we can go back to the normal, and we can actually uh, start the offline event which we are talking about. And as you know that slowly we have also started the hybrid model, so that the interaction is more. Uh, um, Having said all these things, that stress and other things, please, one thing that I want to convey to you, we are working hard to make the facilities over here, but who will be the takers? The takers are all of you. Until unless you come you come here, you you participate, then only this particular program will be successful. The awareness program, as well as all the speakers will be sharing their views. I think that this is a good way to share the information in both the ways. So please join all these sessions which we are arranging it. Uh, Only I can say that we try to make the facilities, but these facilities have to be used by yourself, by you. And one thing is, what I after working several years in this domain, is that working with the students, what I understood is that the information that is needed is, it is actually, it should come to us either through faculty advisor or through IIC mentor or your friends, whatever is that, please convey the message to us. If you find that your friends, or even if you are not finding it good, please come to us. We will take care. Until unless we know the situation, until unless we know your situation, your friend's situation, a information which does not reach to us, that actually results in a very bad way. So my request to all of you is that use this facility, and whatever we are planning, you please join all these facilities, all these talks, all these this kind of seminar. And also I want to say that we think that these are the things, but always we need a feedback from you. And if you give the feedback, we will improve our system. We will, whatever is not available at this moment, we will try to bring all these facilities to you. uh, we think that you in the campus, you should be safe, both health wise. We had to strike a balance between your academics and the health of the of all of you. So in my opinion, that IIT campus is a very good campus. IIT system is a very good system. Although I am Dean SA, please take me as your friend. Don't think that I am far away or I am too far away from you people. I am always with you. Please take me that way. Uh, Let us talk friendly. Let us talk friendly with the faculty advisor. All these problems that we need to solve, if we talk. If we don't talk, if we don't get the information, the all the problems will be within you. So don't take this. I think that I will not take too much of time. All the experts are here to talk about stress and management and other things. So I only wish you all the best, and hopefully I will get the feedback. If you want to write, you write to the coordinator, you write to Shivani ma'am, all the experts, they will consult with me, and we will try to bring all the facilities, all the things, whatever you want, whatever we are not able to provide it. Just to give you the awareness about that thing is that, and the information, we have already started the Bandhu website that we have. This is a self-help kind of website from the Students Wellness Center. We have also launched the online counseling system. If you want to be anonymous, if you want to get the help from some anonymous, not within the campus, you can go ahead and take the online counseling help. And any other kind of thing, if you think that that will be better for you, I will be taking up immediately for that one. Having said all these things, thank you very much. I wish a very good academic as well as healthy life, and we will be uh, uh, bringing back the normalcy in the campus as soon as possible. I am sorry that I have on the Saturday or Sunday, I get some time to work for my research and other things. So I was working till now, and I have not taken the lunch yet. So I'll go and take the lunch and then start another. And then again, another meeting is there. So all of you, Please excuse me. I have to leave after this one. And thank you very much. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time. So,
And
next.
yeah, please go ahead and next.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
bring.
Thank you for your time. Yes.
Thank you.
So next, I would like to invite Professor Nityananda Prabhu, sir, who is our faculty advisor for ISCP, to give a brief insight about the event and also about the ISCP. Sir, you are muted.
I hope I'm audible now. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Simadri. Thank you for inviting me. Dear friends, good afternoon, and a very warm, welcome to this EQ 601, uh, the course on time and stress management, organized by Dr. Shivani Manchanda and the overall coordinators of the Institute Student Companion Program. Trust you're all keeping safe and taking good care of your health. Um, Now, let me just begin by thanking the audience. And I know that most of you are first year master students, and I thank you for taking the advice of your senior companions and making it a point to attend this program today. Um, Now, by now, you would have witnessed the commitment of our senior companions, and you would probably be wondering from where they get this enthusiasm to organize programs such as EQ 601 for the welfare of their junior companions, and that is you. Um, the reason your senior companions enjoy being part of this ISCP Institute Student Companion Program is because the ISCP provides them that opportunity to interact with you, opportunity to inspire you, and opportunity to help you make the most of what is available on campus, most of the opportunities, facilities, etc. available on campus. So what is this Institute Student Companion Program? It's basically an academic and a social support system for the postgraduate students of IIT Bombay. And why do we need such a support system? Uh, Students who join IIT Bombay come from varying backgrounds, and some require help and guidance to succeed in not so familiar semester evaluation system. Um, Also, some students who have spent considerable amount of time in workplace, and then they return back to do their master's study. They require help in managing this transition from a workplace environment to a demanding and a competitive academic environment. Also, some students face difficulty in building friendships, and they require help in handling the cultural and the language differences, right? So what actually distinguishes a institute student companion program from other gymkhana bodies? There are several other bodies also which have similar, or if not exactly the same, similar kind of a objective. And what distinguishes ISCP from these Gymkhana bodies is the fact that your senior companion knows the problems faced by individual students because they are directly in contact with the individual students. And the way we like to think about it is that the senior companions are in direct contact with the grassroots. That's the way we like to look at the senior companions. So what is it that we expect from the senior companions? Well, we expect them to provide, of course, companionship. We expect them to create that closely bonded community of master students and generate solidarity among the master students. So this is what we expect from the senior companions. We also expect them to be positive role models. That is, we expect them to inspire you and help you make good decisions. Right? We also expect our senior companions to handhold you and help you cope with academic as well as personal problems. But having said that, please remember your senior companion is not expected to teach you, but the senior companion could guide you on how to go about seeking appropriate help. For example, the senior companion could help you coordinate with the teaching assistant in a course, or he or she could coordinate with the instructor and organize a help session for you. Um, we also expect our senior companions to make you aware of the academic requirements at IIT Bombay. For example, we expect our senior companions to caution you if your CPI drops below 6, because that is when you actually go into academic probations, right? So the senior companion is actually making you aware of these things. And even if a student goes into academic probation, we expect our senior companions to help that student to chart out, of course, chart out a roadmap in consultation with the faculty advisor, chart out a roadmap for the timely completion of the academic programs. Um, Finally, as Professor Kundu also put it, uh, please remember that lots of time and effort goes into organizing these programs and these workshops. And of course, your senior companions and we all will be delighted if you can benefit from these programs, right? So with that, I will hand over this back to the organizers. But before that, I would like to wish you all a very enjoyable learning experience in EQ 601. And I really hope that you will take away many core ideas generated during this program. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for guiding us and helping us in every way possible for building ISCP. And now I would like to invite Professor Abhijit Majumdar, sir, who is the faculty advisor for Department of Chemical Engineering. So he would talk about the time management and also the goal decision issues. So I would like Professor Majumdar to take from here. Thank you.
Uh, Before that, I thought it was the meditation thing, right? Or should I start?
No, I
Hello?
think
No, sir. You start. After that, we will have meditation.
Okay,
After
okay.
your talk, we will conduct the meditation.
Sure, sure, sure. No problem.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
A second. So I'm sharing my screen, and so you have to give me the share option, you know, that privilege.
yeah, just a second.
Yes, it is there. So is my screen visible? Hello? Was my
No, it isn't visible yet.
Yeah, yeah. Now,
It is. It
yes,
is.
sir. Now it is.
It
yeah.
is. It is now.
Okay, okay. So yeah, thank you everyone, and thank you the team for this this discussion and organizing this particular workshop, which is important for all of us. Last year I gave one talk on time management in general, and that was typically directed for the PhD students. This time it is for MTech students. However, the basic content of this discussion remains the same. The time management rules or principles, they don't depend on who you are, right? Maybe a little bit of here and there might be different, but the basic structure essentially the same. Um, Being said that, as you know, I am the faculty advisor of chemical engineering MTech students. So I have seen the kind of issues they face. So I just tried to kind of modify it a little bit here and there so that it can specifically address your need. So whatever I'm going to tell today in next 25-30 minutes, you already know all of this. First of all, I am 100% sure that some point of time in your life, your parents, your teachers, your seniors, one or the other person would have told you all these different things. In fact, when I was asked to give this talk, I first asked my mother that, what was your time management skill? Because she was a working woman. We were three siblings, and so she had to manage, both professional and personal life. And we have seen that the kind of time management she had to do. And in fact, today, or I mean now also, when she's 80 plus, but still she manages to do, the regular household work, her stitching, her reading storybook, and a lot of the different stuffs, walking, gardening. So I approached her, and then whatever she told me, and then whatever written in the management books, they are absolutely the same. There is no difference. So essentially, it is something that we all know. This is just to refresh our mind that okay, these rules exist. So first of all, think your time as your diet. Okay, as we know that we need a balanced as well as regular diet to keep ourselves healthy. The same way, our time management also should be balanced and regular. And we have to have the healthy food in the same way, healthy activities to make things work. Do not waste. So the way we should not waste our food grains, and because today actually, Mahatma Gandhi's death, anniversary, and he also told that consider your time and food grain as the same. You should not waste either of these. So we should not waste that. But being said that, I this is added by me that when we go for dieting, occasional cheating is allowed. So in the same way, when we go for the time management stuff, occasional cheating is allowed. So none of us can stick to a very strict diet. None of us can stick to a very strict schedule routine, whatever we make. But if we do a very regular cheating, then our if we do a regular cheating in our food habit, we will fall sick. Our body will not work the way it should be. Same is true for the time. Once in a while, doing things here and there is absolutely fine, but if that becomes the habit, it creates problem. So, but being said all of this thing, the gain that you also can get from your time management is a stress-free life. And this is, I am telling you from my own experience, and it is not from any book or from anywhere, that when I am not planned, I am under stress. Oh, ye karna hai, wo karna hai, ye wo. When things are planned and chalked out, even if there are 10 things I have to do, I know that okay, this is how it will be managed. So it does not, it may put a little bit of stress on my, the physically I may feel tired, but I mentally don't feel tired at the end of the day. So the concept of that basic time management skill, as I say, the PPM, which is we have to do the preparation, which is the first thing, then planning and implementation, and then finally the monitoring. So I will talk about all those various details one by one. So first we will start about the preparation. So as I was giving you the example of food. So when you approach your time management, and I request you that you start that from today. The way we say good habit should start from now. So I request you start it from today. So the way the preparation for the food that if I need to make biryani, I need to have those ingredients. I have to prepare for that. If I prepare for matar paneer, I cannot make biryani. If I prepare for kulcha, a chole kulche, I cannot make matar paneer. Right? So I need to know exactly what I am going to achieve, what my goal is, and for that I need to know that what do I need. So that is the part of the preparation, and that starts with the question, who are you? That's a very difficult philosophical question, although that is a very important question, but we can come back to that a bit later. But I would like to ask this question: what do I want to achieve? And here I would like to stress upon this word you. Don't go by what others want you to achieve. Ask yourself what you want to achieve. You have joined a program for what reason? What was the purpose? And that is something I keep on telling to all of my students as well, all the time, that be clear about your purpose, what the purpose you are going to, and that is not just for your professional, even for your personal life. If you are even getting into a relationship, ask yourself why I am going into it. So once you understand that what do you want to achieve or your purpose, then you also need to understand that what are your obligations. If you need to achieve that, what you need to do, what you need to invest. And also, when I say that what are your obligations, that also include that if I now kind of differentiate between personal and the professional life. Suppose you are a master student, but your parents are unfortunately not you know uh, that well. They might be unwell, or this time. So it is your obligation to look after them. That is part of your duty. So you need to really very clearly know that, okay, what are your duties that you need to do. At the same time, you also need to know that what are your hobbies, what gives you pleasure, what gives you happiness, right? Not thousands of things cannot be my hobbies. I can only have a few selected hobbies. And then you need to know what is non-negotiable for you. For all of us, some of the things are non-negotiable, right? Say when I say hobbies, you may say watching cricket is non-negotiable for me. If today there is a match of India, I have to watch that. Absolutely fine. So just ask yourself what are the non-negotiable things for you. Meeting my girlfriend and boyfriend, in the evening for 1 hour is non-negotiable for me. Absolutely fine. But list that out. What are the non-negotiable thing for you? And then you need to ask the question, obviously, what are your possible roadblocks? What you cannot anticipate everything, but can you anticipate something that this might be coming in, few months or, next year or so? I may have some financial crunch at home. I may have some financial situation so that I may need to manage some things. So what are my constraints? It is exactly the optimization problem. So what are my constraints? And after all those things, ask yourself, what are you ready to sacrifice out of these hobbies, obligations, non-negotiable things, etc.? Is there anything that you may sacrifice? Then you can remove that from your list. But if there is not anything that you can sacrifice, that's fine. But at least go through your list. Now, so it is again for general, for everyone applicable. Now, if I come to MTech student, you have to work with your guide. So ask yourself, why my thing is not moving? Huh. Ask yourself that what is the working style of your guide? Because you, for next 1 year or 1.5 years, you have to work with that person, and there is no other way, right? So what does they expect? What is their expectation? What is non-negotiable for them? So because, say for example, when I talk about the working style, maybe your guide wants you to work 10 to 5 basis. Maybe your guide want to give you the flexibility. Maybe your the working style of your guide is to meeting you every day for 15 minutes. So it is very important to know that what is that person's expectation. Also try to understand what does your project demand. Is it a time bound project? Is it an industry sponsored project that you have to give the result in every 3 months, every 6 months, etc.? Know those parameters, talk to your supervisor, know what is exactly expected so that you can balance both the sides. Balancing is not easy, but knowing beforehand makes our life simpler. Being said that, next, when it comes to planning and implementation, this graph you might have seen already. This is a very typical this kind of management graph, where we talk about that divide your all activities into urgent and not urgent, and important and not important. So something which is neither urgent nor important, you need to delete it, eliminate it from your list. And what is not important, that depends on your life choice, not by, again, not by anyone else. Watching a match might be absolutely zero importance for me, but maybe doing something else is very important for you, or for me. So that is your decision, what things you can delete. Urgent is maybe you have to give your MTech stage 1 presentation, your project has some kind of deadlines, you have some equipment booking, etc. Those are absolutely urgent and absolutely important, that you have to do it now. But if you plan it early, it will never come to this urgent block. It will always remain not urgent but important. Okay, so that if you have to give your MTech stage 1 presentation, many of the things you can start preparing early. That will take away the stress. Some things in your life, important, not urgent: exercise, doing your regular physical activities to keep you fit, paper reading, when you will join your lab, if it is an experimental lab, maintaining your lab notebook. These are highly important, not urgent, but you have to do it everyday basis. You have to schedule a time slot to do that. Okay, so these are all part of the planning, but if you do it, implement it, rest of the journey becomes absolutely simple. So, but also please remember that whatever I earn, if I waste, then whatever I earn, how much financial planning I do, I will still be in financial crisis. So you may do all the planning, but then afterwards, if you cannot stick to that, if you try to, waste a lot of that, I mean, as I said at the beginning, a little bit of cheating is fine. But if the cheating part goes higher, then whatever planning we do, we will not be able to meet it. Okay. So waste minimally. I mean, zero waste is not possible, but go for the minimal waste. Zero waste is your target. Okay. Again, it is not moving. Yes. Okay. So I have written here MX because it depends on if you are MTech, MDS, MSc, MBA, whatsoever. What are the different activities you may have, right? You have your coursework that you have to do, and that is very much well structured. Exams, quizzes, everything is very thoroughly planned, assignments. So, but if you just have to follow that structure, if you fall off from that structure, you will find it difficult. So if I have a quiz coming in the next 2 weeks time, start preparing. So plan your semester based on your coursework, because you know everything a priori. Your research is, you don't know what is going to happen in your research, but in your coursework everything is very well done. If you talk to your seniors, you will probably even get to have the class notes, so you can actually prepare well in advance. That will save a lot of time. Research. Your research part will be semi-structured. As I said, some of the things you can plan, some of the things are not in your hand. So you have to be prepared for what is not in your hand. And that's why whatsoever is in your hand, if you can have at least control over that, then when something unexpected happens, you will not go completely crazy. You will know that okay, at least itna to mere हाथ में है, बाकी मैं कर लूंगा या कर लूंगी. Okay, so at least whatever is in your control, have control over that. Essentially, we feel stressed because we feel things are not under our control. till the point we feel that, okay, I am in control, I don't feel stressed. That is a human, characteristics. So try to have control over things that you can plan. The things that you cannot plan, we will come to that. Next comes your campus interview preparation, as well as if some of you are doing GRE, other application, etc. These are very seasonal. You know that it will come in your second semester, in your third semester. It will come in the month of the December. You know that in the month of the December, you will be busy in campus interview. You will be busy in writing your PhD application or etc. So this is that you know. So you try to do some work earlier so that I'm talking about, say, your research work or maybe your course work, so that you can spend a little bit more time for your campus interview during December. And I'm telling you, the tips. Don't tell it to your supervisor, but just for you, that do some work earlier. Don't show the result to your guide. Just keep it to yourself. So the time when you will be busy in other activities, that time you can show those results. So your guide will think, oh, okay, you are doing your work. Okay, that is the trick we all used during our time. You can also use in your own. But to utilize this trick in the other time, you have to generate more data and more result to keep or save that for the rainy days. And then finally comes your all personal chores and activities. As I said, everything together, and that will be there. You have to give time for all those things. So again, my computer is getting stuck. Yeah. So allocate time for each of the above mentioned activities. So first you sit with your pen and paper and allocate time. How much time I will give for each of these. And that's why I said, for that you need to know what do you want to achieve at the end of your MTech program. If you want to achieve a published paper, your structure will be different. If you want to achieve a campus interview job, your structure will be different. If you want to go for PhD after this, your structure will be different. So your structure will depend on for what is your purpose. So be very clear about your purpose at the very beginning. Also know your guide's purpose and try to bring a balance there. Yeah. Okay. So now I come here, that just part of your research part. So if you have allocated, okay, this much of time I will be spending for my research, then keep 15 to 20% of that for your reading papers. You may need to spend some time for the lab management. You will have some lab duties. That is, you need to say make some, some ordering or something else. Keeps like 10% of the time every week for writing your report. Okay, writing makes our minds clear. Writing helps us in thinking straight. Writing helps us to maintain records. So keep 10% of your time for writing. So say if I give here, say 20 plus 10, 30 plus 20, so the 50 is the highest of all these, and 50% will go for your doing work, analyzing data, etc. So if you, and the lowest you can go here like 15 plus 10, 25 plus 10, 35. So 65 will go for your this part of your work. Okay, but if you do your reading papers regularly, writing, etc., you yourself will realize that in this part you are working more efficiently. You will have less failed experiment, and each of the successful experiment gives you a mental boost, give you, you will feel energetic to do the next. So meet your guide daily, weekly, fortnightly. That depends on his or her or their work, work standard, work plan. So have a one-to-one discussion, get what is their expectation, and meet your guide regularly. That again helps you much better to plan. That resolves 90% of the issues. Trust me, I'm MTech faculty advisor for last 7-8 years. Most of the issues get resolved when the students meet their guides regularly. And also every week have some time, some small time to learn something new. That can be some statistics, how to do the various plots, image analysis, depends on what is related to your research. But have some component to learn something new, that refresh your mind, that keep your mind agile. Sorry about this, I don't know why it is happening. So now I'm coming to your planning part in again more structured manner. Make a to-do list. Okay, you should have a broad scale to-do list that you need to do for the whole semester, whole year. Then you break that down into monthly, weekly, daily. Have a fair enough to-do list plan. And then you also should have fillers. That is, if something you get some 10 minutes extra, what you can do. So have some to-do list, some kind of have fillers, and now you can do that digitally in your phone. So keep that ready. Based on that to-do list, visit that to-do list on Monday and in morning, and then kind of go through that and put that, okay, what can be done today, what can be done this week, how I can tick off from my to-do list. Again, ticking off one work from your to-do list releases a lot of pressure. Then based on your to-do list, make a schedule, but also keep this thing in mind that limiting time is very important. That to give this presentation, I could spend 6 hours to make these PPTs. I can also spend 30 minutes to make these PPTs. So I need to decide myself how much time I am going to spend for each activities, and limiting the time for that activity is important. Again, we we will not be able to do that every time, but at least sometime. I mean, if we have this at the beginning, that will guide us. We will fail here and there. That is absolutely fine. I'm repeating that again and again. That failing here and there is absolutely fine. That is not at all failure. That is actually part of the process itself. But the overall structure is very important. But if you don't have a structure, you will not even know where your time is going. Also, you need to know how much time you need for each job so that you can have a fair enough expectation from yourself. If to do a particular, say, assignment, if I give myself 10 minutes, maybe that is a very impractical, way. I will not be able to do that. So I need to give myself sufficient time, which is required for that particular work, but not also too much. So for that, you need to know how much time you need, and this obviously vary from person to person. So again, it is very important, to understand that all of the rules vary from person to person. You need to modify it according to your personal trait, your personal characteristic. These are the overall structure I'm talking about. Know your distractor. So if you follow your time for next 5 to 7 days, you will realize where you are wasting your time. I know for me it is Facebook. I spend a lot of time on Facebook, so at least I know that where I am wasting my time. So you need to know that what are your distractor, and then you need to kind of prune those distraction from your working, right? So like when I know that I need to focus completely, I put my phone in a completely different room, so that my phone is not even on my table. And on my computer desktop, I have changed my registry file in such a way that I cannot even open Facebook on my desktop. So that stops me from doing things, from getting distracted. Also organize, that if you keep your files and everything in an organized manner, you will save a lot of the time. If today, because as I told you that this presentation I gave last year, if I have to spend 15 minutes to find out where this PPT is, that will drainage of, draining of time. But if I have my files and everything organized, I just within seconds I will find this PPT and then I will modify as it is, required. Multitasking is a bad thing. It may appear it is saving your time, but it generally doesn't. So don't try to do multitasking. Focus on one task. However, multitasking is only possible if one activity is entirely physical, other is entirely cerebral. I can give you one example. During this COVID time, we were not having any, maid at home. So I had to do all the, dusting and mopping, etc. That I do with my this long, that mopping rod. So, whenever every day I do the mopping and dusting, I just call a friend or a relative. I put my headphone on. So I'm talking to that person and my mopping and dusting is done. So because I know for mopping and dusting, I don't need to pay attention. Whereas I'm talking to my friend or relative, where also I don't need to really critically think. But I will not do, say, like checking my email and writing a paper at the same time. So that kind of separation is very much required. This is very important. Give yourself some buffer time. As I said, we will all fail. I will think, okay, I will be able to do this work in 30 minutes. That will not happen. That will take 45 minutes. Then I will come under stress. Oh, mera 15 minutes chala gaya. So I need to give some buffer time every day, that if I miss something here and there, I will, that half an hour, 15 minutes buffer time will take care of that. If I have not lost any time and that buffer time is actually available, then these fillers will take care of that buffer time, and that will help me. And as I have already said, find your own pattern. Every person has different pattern. So have your own pattern, have it for yourself. And this, the last one, I have done an underlying thing, that is reward yourself. The day, the week you can do things well, reward yourself with something that you will feel good. And again, if I tell you from my PhD time, we used to have every week thoroughly planned. The week we could cover, and it was me and 2 3 of my friends. So as someone was telling before, had a buddy group. So it was a buddy group, and we had a very planning, uh, uh, starting of the week. If by Friday evening we could clear all our to-do list, Saturday evening was our movie time. So we will go for a shopping mall in IIT Kanpur. So inside the campus, there was nothing. We have to go to other part of the city, shopping mall, watch a movie, have food, and come back. So that evening is our reward to us for sticking to the to-do list, to sticking to the schedule. If I could not do that during the week, Friday, then my Saturday is my buffer time to fill up all those things. That week, Saturday, I will not give myself that reward. So that is the kind of balance you need to do. But don't forget to reward yourself. That is what we always do. We push ourselves so hard that we get exhausted. Don't do that at the same time. So finally, coming to this Pomodoro technique, probably many of you know that 25 minutes, decide a task that you need to do, set a timer, your phone, your computer, anywhere. Work till the work is done. I mean, till that timer rings, that total 25 minutes. So give your full focus. You will not leave. After that, take a 5-minute break, again come back. And after such 4 cycles, take a 15-30 minutes break. You can think of this as your reward. And when you are doing this 25 minutes thing, not every work I do that I like. It is not true. It is not possible for anyone. But even the things I don't like, I have to do that. So focus for first 5 minutes. And if you focus for first 5 minutes, rest of the things will go in the flow. So don't leave even if you don't dislike something in that first 5 minutes. Just stick to it. So this is the technique. If you want to know about more, we can discuss it later. Last part is the monitoring. So you need to write your schedule. After 1 week, analyze, because if you are doing it for the first time, you really don't know how much time you need for different activities. So after 1 week, you analyze, then you readjust. Again, after 1 week, you analyze and readjust. When some new activities come up, your schedule will get changed. If today I fall sick, my schedule will get changed. So you have to analyze and readjust every week. As you get kind of expert in that, you will see your readjusting will become kind of automatically. You will be doing that just by reflex. So in a nutshell, I'm coming to the end. 4P: prioritize what is important for you, plan well in advance, prune what are not required, what you can remove from your list, and then proceed to do that. The last thing here, what I would like to talk about, and this is something I keep on telling, that be an adult. In our system, we are so much so protected that we don't hold the steering of our own life. We always depend, ठीक है कोई आके बोल देगा, कोई कर देगा, someone will do this for me. No, take the hold of your life. You are adult now. Take any decision that you think is good for you. But at the same time, also remember, we all have to carry our own cross, right? A decision that I take today, I have to bear the consequences. So take the decision as a conscious and informed decision. If I today decide to miss a class, that should be my decision, that okay, I am missing this class. I know what is going to happen, but still I am missing this class for this reason. I should not miss this class that, oh, aaj karne ka man nahi kar raha hai. That is not an informed or conscious decision. Okay, but your decision is yours. You are an adult. Take the control of your own life. That will reduce 50% of your stress. So with this, I stop here my presentation. I have a few things extra about the COVID time, etc. But as most of you are coming back, I have removed all those things. I'll be happy to take any questions, or if you have anything else to discuss.
Sir,
Yeah.
hello, sir. I
Yeah.
really found your like planning very useful. The last part, that monitor and readjustment, that was like I was a little bit confused at what I should do. I mean, I understood the techniques that I need to do, but monitoring and readjustment, if you can explain it a little bit better, it will be
Sure,
very
sure,
helpful.
sure, sure. So say today is, say like the today is Sunday. Actually, yeah, it's a very good that today evening you sit and plan. So the first you make your to-do list for this week. Actually, you should make a to-do list for your semester, then month, then week, then day. But let us just make it simple. Plan your to-do list for this week. Then based on that to-do list, make your schedule on a Google Calendar or any other things that you maintain. Then throughout the week, you check that how much you may have provided some extra time for yourself. That particular activity may not require that much of time, or you will realize that you have given less time, or you may realize you have forgot to put some very important activities. So again, next Saturday or Sunday, you sit with your calendar and you look at that uh, what adjustment is required, so that you can plan your next week a bit better, more informed, and so on and so forth. So did I answer your question, Shubhashri?
Yes, sir, you answered it very well.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. So is there any other question or any comment, or if any of you would like to share your own time management tips which I may not have covered, you are welcome to do that.
Sir, what I do, I for time management, I basically maintain a journal.
Hmm.
So this helps me a lot. And what I do is that I have constructed a habit tracker in which I have mentioned attend class, exercise, read, or work on your project, a healthy diet, do like meditation, and all these things. I have categorized it, and for 30 days I have made small small circles, and all the days when I don't follow or I don't do that particular work, I mark it as like I cross it. That means that I haven't done it on that day. So at the end of the month, I see that how much I have worked on it and how much I, just skipped it. So it just make me understand that if I am following my routine perfectly or not. So this is
Exactly, Shivastri. So you are doing exactly, so like, whatever I have told, that is the accounting, that you make a chart, you kind of keep a track of that consciously, and then at the end of some time cycle, per week, fortnightly or monthly, you go back and check how I have spent my time. Then you readjust. Absolutely, very
yes,
good.
sir. Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
Sir, yeah, I actually I had one question. So regarding, I have actually fixed a weekly meeting with my advisor, PhD advisor. But the thing is that I don't have much to like. Sometimes I don't have much to discuss regarding what I have done for the week.
Hmm.
So sometimes I do have, but it is not always. So like, can you suggest how to go about it?
Absolutely, Shubhendu. So as I also tell to my students that, so okay, so the at least, so again, it also depends on, obviously, with your guide, you can talk to him or her. But what I tell to my students, I can tell you that. I tell my students, first of all, we will have weekly meeting. I tell them that previous evening of that meeting, you send me an email with the meeting agenda so that I can prepare myself, so that whatever 1 hour we will meet, that will be fruitful. Also, we just maintain a same email thread so that how frequently they are sending me that this week there is, no progress. They will also know that how frequently they are, sending me that, this week there is no progress. Being said that, your meeting with your guide is not just about your research progress. It is about many, 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 many other things. How to handle professional life, how to give presentation, what to be expected, what are the career options, how he or she spends their free time, some other concept not at all related to your project. So there are many things to talk to your PhD supervisors, and particularly for the PhD students, I mean, again, it also depends on, obviously, guide to guide, but your guide is kind of, I mean, you are kind of our colleagues, or at least the colleague in preparation, right? So the way I would like to have tea and coffee with my colleague and to discuss whatever on the earth, the same way I also would like to discuss with my students. And there are many, many things, as I said. I mean, actually, I keep on telling my students that in your PhD journey, your PhD work is actually a very small part of your overall training. Your PhD has a many different components of your overall training. And those training you can get by closely interacting with your supervisor. Okay, so if you don't have anything to report, absolutely fine. Talk to your supervisor, plan some other discussion, plan what postdoc you can approach for, or what are the various career options you may have in your field after PhD. So have those discussions. Okay, Shubhendu.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think Professor Gadre is already here. So
Yeah,
Professor,
please continue. No problem. There's still some time, I think, you know. Yeah. My session was from 4:20, so
so if there is
please go
any
ahead.
other question or comment, or even like, Professor Gadre or Shivani ma'am, if you would like to add something on time management tips.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead. Who is
So,
there?
just give us some advice to how to deal with burnout. Like sometimes you get very overwhelmed with things and stuff to do. You are keep doing it, but things are not, getting completed. So, how to deal with that?
Absolutely. So you are a PhD student or an MTech student?
Master's, MS.
Master student, yeah. So Krishnakant, you are absolutely correct. I mean, there will be time, and particularly in research, failure is the norm. Actually, success is the exception. So, but you can have more success more frequently if we plan a bit better. If before jumping into doing the work, if I can plan, I can improve my rate of success. But being said that, particularly if I'm talking about the research, that is a profession where you will face the failure because you are trying to unearth the secret of nature which human for these so many years of human history could not discover, right? You will be the first one in the human history to know that bit of the truth of nature. If nature could have guarded that secret for so many years, do you think she will give it away to you as a he? So she will not. So as I tell, that you have to spend time, you have to really talk sweetly with your research, your experiment, and one point of time she will melt down and she will give you, give you her secret. So but to do that, but that one moment of happiness, that kick, if you enjoy that, that will take you for next 90% of the failure. Being said that, coming back to the burnout point, that's why I have said, well, first of all, plan, and in that planning, keep time for yourself, your mental health, your physical health, to do something that you enjoy. And that something can be anything, watching a cricket match to spending time with your, close ones, anything that can be. Spend time for yourself. And also, as I have said, once you accomplish something, even that is this much, celebrate that accomplishment, make an habit of that. And I'm telling you, every night, me and my parents, so I'm single, my parents stay with me, so we are three in the family. Every night we sit together after dinner and we discuss what 5 good things happened with us on that day, and then we go to bed with that good, good vibe. So try to find out what are the nice things that is happening with you. And once that one nice thing happened, maybe your report, your examiner said, oh, it was a well written report, enjoy that. Your abstract got selected in a departmental conference, enjoy that. Enjoy each secret, each small moments of success. That will fuel us to propel further. So did I answer your question, Krishnakant?
Yeah, definitely, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So Shivani ma'am, you are muted.
Okay. Okay. Will you be staying for the rest of the session, Professor Majumdar, or
I will be definitely staying for Professor Gadre's session because last time I enjoyed that.
Oh, so
After
nice
that,
of
I
you.
may leave. Yeah.
okay, that's
Thank you.
yeah. So I think we can now start with request Professor Majumdar.
Yes,
Sorry, Professor Khatri. So
yes. Thank you, Professor Abhijit Majumdar, for your insight into this time management and all. So now I would request Professor Gadre sir to take from here. So
Oh,
it
thank you
would be
so much.
yes.
Am I audible clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, well, this is going to be just a session in which you look inwards. You know, um, there's a beautiful way to understand meditation from what Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar ji says. You know, if you must have, many of you might have heard him. He says, service means seeing the divine in the person in front of you, and meditation means looking at the divine within you, right? So when we, even a few minutes of uh, say association or a few minutes of viewing the divine, whether in front of you or within you, is refreshing. I was listening to the question which was posed about burnout. See, burnout is a part of all our lives. It could be due to boredom, it could be due to stress, it could be due to fatigue, due to fatigue doing something again and again. And as somebody said, probably sometimes without the kind of success that we want or results that we want. All these are causes of burnout. And one of the ways to overcome burnout is to meditate, to look inwards and to look at the divine inward, the divine that is there already. It is covered with layers. So anyway, instead of now this is just going to be about a 20-minute session. Is that right, Simhadri, Dr.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how you have planned it in your schedule.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll keep it that way.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Plus 10 minutes is also fine. Plus or minus.
okay.
Yes.
So essentially, to so all that we need to do here is to relax. It's not easy to do. We think relaxing is easy. It's not necessarily very easy. In fact, we are all the time waiting to be stressed for some reason. We get used to being stressed. Now, all that you need to do, two or three things are important. See, don't worry about whether you actually are able to go through all the instructions that are given and so on, but you should keep your eyes closed during the session. That is important, right? Don't open your eyes until told to. Also, try your best to follow whatever instructions are given. You don't have to see now, for example, if I say, look at just look at your breath, or look at, you don't have to you don't have to visualize a column of air going in and out or something. You don't really have to start uh, applying all engineering skills there to look at the cylindrical column which is going. No, you don't have to do that. You just have to relax and try and observe the instructions that are given and follow them in the best way that you can, in a very detached manner. You don't have to really start measuring the rate at which your breath is flowing. And that's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to start involving yourself too much in the rigor of the instructions, right? But at the same time, you should pay attention to what is being asked and do it to the best of your ability, right? That's all that is needed. Okay, so with these few words of introduction, now let us all close our eyes. Very simple. Let's all close our eyes. It'll be nice if, I know that there would be a bandwidth issue, but before you close your eyes, I would be happier if I saw a few people on video, whoever can be, a few people. It's just that gives me a better, those who are comfortable being on video. So it gives me some idea about how things are going, or also whether my instructions are going clearly or not. Right? So those of you who can turn your video on, please do. So just first instruction, simply close your eyes and sit comfortably. Sit in a comfortable posture. Be comfortable. You don't have to be rigid, but you have to be comfortable, because you have to sit in that posture for about 15-20 minutes. You can move a little bit, but not too much. So sit comfortably and close your eyes. Now, for a couple of minutes, simply observe your breath. Simply observe your breath. Very gently observe your breath. Pretend that you can see the breath going out and the breath come in. Observe your breath. Very comfortably. You don't have to be stressed in doing that. Just in a very relaxed position, observe your breath. As the breath goes in, imagine that it brings fresh life to your body and mind. As the breath goes in, जैसे श्वास शरीर में प्रवेश करता है, कल्पना करें कि नया जीवन शरीर में प्रवेश कर रहा है, मन को पुनर्जीवित कर रहा है. As the breath goes in, imagine that new life energizes the body and the mind. As the breath goes out, imagine that all the toxins, all that is obstructing the body and the mind is slowly being cleaned. As the breath goes out, imagine that all the toxins and all that is obstructing the body and the mind is being cleaned from the body and the mind. Just observe the breath. केवल श्वास उच्छ्वास की ओर ध्यान दें. श्वासोच्छ्वास जिंदगी का केंद्र है. The incoming and the outgoing breath are the focal point of life. Whatever else may be going on, the breath is what keeps you alive. Without the breath, nothing that you experience will be a part of your life. So for a few seconds, you are your breath. कुछ क्षण के लिए आप अपना श्वासोच्छ्वास हैं. कुछ क्षण के लिए आप और आपके श्वासोच्छ्वास में कोई अंतर नहीं. For a few seconds, there is no difference between you and your breath. You are your breath. Very gently observe your breath. You are your breath. Whatever else there is secondary. You are your breath. It doesn't matter whatever else there is. There could be sorrow, there could be joy, there could be pain, there could be happiness. All of that is there because you are breathing. You are your breath. इस क्षण आपकी जिंदगी में जो भी है, दुख, सुख, आशा, निराशा, वह सब इसलिए अनुभव हो रहा है क्योंकि आपका श्वासोच्छ्वास चल रहा है. Observe the breath. When the breath enters the body, imagine that new life enters the body and the mind. The breath goes in and energizes every cell of the body, every nook and corner of the mind. Let your breath become slower and slower, deeper and deeper. Relax, relax. विश्राम करें. श्वासोच्छ्वास और अधिक गहरा हो. जब श्वास शरीर में प्रवेश करता है तो कल्पना करें कि नया जीवन शरीर और मन में प्रवेश कर रहा है. जब श्वास शरीर से निकलता है तो कल्पना करें कि उसके साथ जो भी शरीर में अस्वच्छता है, तनाव है, सब उसके साथ निकल रहे हैं. As the breath leaves the body, imagine all the toxins, all the stresses also leave with it. Let the breath be deeper and deeper, slower and slower. Deeper and deeper. श्वासोच्छ्वास और गहरा हो. शनैः शनैः और धीरे धीरे. विश्राम करें.
relax. और विश्राम करें, relax. Repose in yourself even more and more. गहरा विश्राम, deeper relaxation. Slow and deep breath. Look at the breath, slow and deep. श्वासोच्छ्वास को देखें, धीरे धीरे और गहराई से. विश्राम करें, रिलैक्स. Yo Shanti Antariksha Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apa Shanti Shadhaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishvedeva Shanti Shantireva Shanti Sa Shantiredi Shanti Shanti शान्तिः सर्वारिष्ट सुशान्तिर्भवतु का समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः There is no hurry. Whenever you feel comfortable, become aware of your surroundings and very gently you may open your eyes. कोई जल्दी नहीं है जब भी आप आपका विश्राम पूरा हो आप अपने वातावरण से सजग होते हुए आंखों को खोल सकते हैं very good hmm? How many of you feel good
Yes, sir.
nice good very nice okay so you have the next session now no
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session. It
thank
was
you
amazing, sir.
So Madhuri, I would like to add something. Can I ask a question?
sure
Yeah, yeah,
sure
sure.
yeah yeah
Uh,
you can ask your questions if you have any questions or anything that you want to say you can say yes
Thank you, sir. I really enjoyed the session. I
thank you
would like to hear some tips from you regarding how do we focus ourselves, like when you were saying us, right, to take
yeah
the deep breaths and all. And to be honest, I've been trying meditation for a few months for now,
okay
but I
okay
find it very difficult to focus
yeah
on
mm.
just breathing. Like there are so many thoughts which come. So what
Mm.
would you suggest?
Mm. Don't fight with the thoughts. So see, the thoughts are like passengers on a platform. No, if you're standing on a platform, you just observe and you're it's as if you're sitting in a train and you're watching passengers on a platform. Why do you care, isn't it? Passengers come and go. No, you're just assume you're just moving with the train and the passengers are coming and going on the platform. Thoughts are like that. Is that is that clear? Does it, you got what I'm saying?
So you're just asking, like, let it
Let
just
them
come,
come
but
and go. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Don't fight with the thoughts. See, if you start fighting with the thoughts, you can never. Then your attention is on the thoughts. Then you cannot put your attention on the breath at all.
Yes, so that's the problem I've been facing. Like, I can't completely focus on it because, all these
Don't
thoughts just come and then it's
see because
difficult.
the attention and the focus goes to the thoughts. The moment that happens, your breath becomes secondary, isn't it? You cannot focus on the breath and the thoughts together. No, that can't happen. So I mean, you have to let the thoughts come and go without fighting with them. They will come and go like passengers on a platform, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'll hopefully meditate better.
You don't have to see. Don't try to evaluate too much. The breath. You must remember the breath is there. The breath is you. The breath at some point is life, isn't it? Since the breath is life, you are because of your breath. As far as the body is concerned. No? I mean, without the breath, your body is lifeless, isn't it? So if you recognize that, then you will see the thoughts are only stray guests. They are there for maybe even fractions of seconds, and then they go away. Doesn't matter. They are only illusions at some level, isn't it? The breath is real. If you understand, if you don't have to, don't you must not try to put too much of intellect. See, it's an experience, isn't it? I mean, the breath. Just try holding your breath for some time, then you all your thoughts will go. If you try to hold your breath for a few, even if you try to hold it for a minute, all your thoughts will go, isn't it? Because the breath is life. So if you just focus, see this. I mean, it's okay. One shouldn't get too perturbed. If you get perturbed, oh, I'm not able to meditate. I'm not able to meditate. Then definitely you will not meditate. So you just let go for a few minutes. You must just let go. So let go. If you let go, then things will come. If you hold on, then things will go. So if you let go for a few minutes, of course, you must do it in a safe place. Not that, you're driving a car and you suddenly start meditating. Not like that. I mean, you must meditate when you're comfortable and you find a place where you're comfortable. Otherwise, you're not immediately doing something which requires your attention and focus. That should not be there. But yes, just before an examination or something, you have gone into the examination hall, you've gone into the interview hall, and you have a few minutes. It's a good idea to just close your eyes and for a few minutes let go, for a few seconds. You just let go, see the wonders that happen. Yeah, we can take some more. Any other
Sir, I had one
questions?
one
Yes,
Thank you,
question.
sir.
yes,
Sir,
yes, yes,
actually, when
please.
I'm very tired
Yeah,
and
yeah,
very
yeah.
yeah,
Can you come forward on video and introduce yourself also? It's nice to, yeah,
yeah,
see
sure,
people.
sir.
Sure, if
Uh,
possible. Yeah,
okay, sir. Actually, when I'm very tired
yeah,
or when
yeah,
I'm very stressed out, so ideally
yeah.
we should do meditation, but it feels like I should just veg out and just watch TV or some movies and also
Mm,
like instead of that, actually that stresses me out even more. That's what I realized.
mm,
But I'm not
mm,
motivated to do like meditation. Even that is the ideal thing to do in that
mm,
case. So what
mm.
should
Yeah. See, the very fact that you're asking this question itself is a step in that direction. You can see that? You understand what I'm saying? The very fact that you're asking this question is a step in that direction. Just take a couple of seconds to appreciate what I'm saying. Is it, see, the very fact that you're asking this question, so many people might just be doing what you're doing, putting on the TV and assuming their stress will go away or whatever, then see, putting on the TV still is all right, or maybe whatever, that's a mild thing. But some people take to other forms of what they think is stress release. Like they indulge in some substance or they indulge in something else, isn't it? In your case, of course, you're not even referring to those things. But I'm saying the moment now, for example, the person who takes recourse to other ways to alleviate stress. Like, for example, the person may take recourse. So as you said, you want to just watch TV. See, anyway, that is okay. I mean, if you want, if you feel it relaxes you for a few minutes, no harm. But as you said, it does not, right? It doesn't relax. So it makes you even more, or it doesn't give you that. So the moment you recognize this, then one step has been taken already, isn't it? Now, the next time this happens, you have to try and bring that memory. Oh, the last time I tried to do this, it did not give me the relaxation that I wanted. The moment that memory comes, then even if you have turned the TV on, you may watch, but then you will turn it off and then you will move into something which takes you deeper into rest or relaxation. Like, just the simple. And the other thing is, if your process of, if you see, if you start assuming that you will do something very, very complicated to meditate, you will not be able to do it. Right? So particularly when you're stressed, if you want to de-stress, and if the process of de-stressing itself is very complicated, nobody will want to you see what I'm saying? So the first thing is to make the process of meditation very simple. It has to begin very simple. Otherwise, you will not start. See, if the process, if in your mind there is a feeling that meditation is very complicated, then you will not meditate, isn't it? You will meditate only if you think it. Why do you turn the TV on? Because you think it's very simple, isn't it? Just click a button and the TV comes on. If suppose 300 years ago, if you had to set up a whole apparatus and then turn your TV on, you would not have done that to de-stress, no? Because that would have caused more stress to you. Now you just click a button and the TV comes on, so you think it is a way to de-stress because it's very simple. So similarly, if you think meditation is very complicated, then you will not want to do it. So the first, whenever now, right at this moment, think that meditation is very simple, right? It's simple, simpler than turning the TV on. You see what I'm saying? The moment your mind registers that this is simpler than turning the TV on, turning the TV on is more complicated, then your mind would be more inclined to do it. Did I get across to you? I could see you were very peaceful and you were very, I could see you sitting in a relaxed and calm posture. Very good. Very nice. It's very simple. Remember, it's very simple.
So I have another question. May I?
Yes, please.
So, sir, when you mentioned like meditation should be simple task. So I read few books, like one was Ikigai, wherein they said, you need to be mindful in whatever task you do or whatever activity you carry out. So, again, I try my best. Like if I'm studying or something, and if it's interesting, of course, I am completely focused
Absorb.
on it. But then there are some other tasks, not the entire 24 hours is not devoted to only interesting tasks.
No.
So how would you suggest just to be focused, because meditation is just not focusing on your bed, it's just focusing on your task also would be easy.
Yeah.
So any tips for that? Like I found this tip of yours helpful, so anything
See,
else?
I mean, if what is too, invariably there is, particularly if a task is challenging, the mind sometimes takes breaks from it, right? It would like to go away and look at something else. Just perhaps it's a process of de-stressing that the mind follows on its own. Maybe it's also a process of reorganization. As long as you're making progress in what you're doing, one should not get too perturbed. See, I- the, I mean, it's difficult to be, you can't, it's rare that one is 100% absorbed, but that is the way it happens on its own. When something captures your attention, it happens on its own. So, um, instead of getting caught up in the desire, see, or if you're all the time thinking, oh, I'm not focused, oh, I'm not focused, I'm not focused, then that itself is a cause of defocus. So just, if your mind, see, many many knowledgeable people say the mind is like, you can either think of the mind like a little child, the little child which is being held by its mother. So the see, if you try to hold the child too tightly, it is bound to wiggle and move around and be restless, isn't it? You let the child a little loose, let it play around, whatever, but then keep a watch on it. That's the way it should be with the mind. Abhyasa and Vairagya. These two things. Practice and little bit of detachment. It's funny, actually, a little bit of detachment and practice. These two things are required.
Sure, sir. I'll follow this. Thank you.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes,
if I
sir.
can just
Thank
add one
Yes,
thing.
yeah,
Sorry.
sure, sure. Yeah.
So, we are running out of time, so
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
move on to
Just I'll
the.
make one
Yeah.
point because
Let,
Professor
yeah,
Katre is here.
yeah.
That I'm not as experienced in meditation as you are, but what I found was that if I meditate regularly, and especially when I am not stressed,
Hmm.
especially when I'm in my normal state of mind, so to
Yes,
say,
yes,
I
yes,
find then that when then I get stressed, I can even sometimes
yes,
take
yes,
10 breaths or even like a
yes,
minute's worth of breath,
yes.
and I can reach that center,
True,
which so I think it's also what helped me was getting it in my muscle memory, so to say.
true,
And
true.
I started off actually by doing more walking meditations because I found
Hmm.
sitting still meditations more difficult for me in the very
Yes.
beginning.
Yeah.
So I used to do walking meditations, and then gradually I was able to move to sitting meditations as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
But if I do it regularly, then when I'm stressed, it helps me. But if I
Absolutely.
earlier, I used to think अभी मैं इतना stressed हूँ और अब अभी मैं करूँ, तो वो
Hmm.
नहीं होता है, because that time, it's not in your habit, it's not in your muscle memory as to how to
No,
just sit. And so for me that helped, that to just do it
that's a very
regularly.
valid point. It's a very valid point, I mean, it's important as, Dr. Shivani says, it's very important to do it regularly and particularly at times when you're not. So if you do it at times when you're not stressed, then you're more likely to be able to do it at times when you're stressed. That's a very, very good observation. See, in fact, see, now it's interesting. See, there are many couplets in different languages which allude to this idea, maybe not in the context of meditation, but in the context. See, I told you, one way is to think of meditation as looking at the divine within. Now, about the divine, there are many couplets which essentially suggest that, see, dukh mein sumiran sab kiya, sukh mein, see, so if now, if you have all the time, जो सुख में सुमिरन करे ता दुख काहे होए, isn't it? So if you remember the divine in times of joy, then the divine can also be accessed in times of sorrow, isn't it? That is now when you say divine, actually it is all this, when you're looking inwards, if you start looking inwards in times of joy, then you're also likely to look inwards in times of sorrow. Otherwise, if you're only trying to access the divine in times of joy, I mean in times of sorrow, it's not accessible. So practice is important. Abhyasa is one point. Abhyas. Yeah. Any other questions or inputs or anything? Well, I can't claim to be an expert, but yes, I mean, I do find these things very useful. In fact, they become so important that, you don't feel that your day has begun properly without them.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, madam. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you.
So now
Yeah.
we'll move on to the next speaker,
Yes.
Dr. Shivani Manchanda ma'am. So she
Yeah.
will talk about the stress management.
Right. So I'll stay for a few minutes.
Sure,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, sir.
Then I'll log out.
So I'll be brief for most of my points. I think Professor Kadri has really demonstrated a lot about how we can manage stress in a sort of a wholesome and a holistic way. But also, I would like to bring your attention or ask for your responses upon, and you can put some in the chat box. So where do you keep, you know because stress has a physical impact on our lives, on our body. So where all do each of you who are here keep the stress in your body? For me, for instance, my shoulders ache the most when I'm sort of stressed or I'm sort of tied up. Then everything uh, sort of sits here. What about some of you? Could you put it in the chat box in terms of where some of you hold your stress and how do you hold it? So, neck and shoulders, headache, sometimes eyes. Yes. Yes. Anybody else? Back. So, back and shoulders, I think, is common for a lot of us. What does it do to our sleep? Do we sleep well when we are stressed? Anybody? Has it impacted your sleep when you have been going through? Yes. So we have erratic sleep schedules. I know I get a lot of anxiety sometimes. I'm a bit of a worrier by nature, and many of us who tend to think too much can sometimes put ourselves in a cycle of overthinking, so to say, and we can then end up with headaches. We can end up with sorry, my slides seem to be going elsewhere. Right. So the reason I'm bringing out the physical impact of stress is because I think it is important to remember that when what happens is sometimes you don't realize that you're stressed. Sometimes you just tend to ignore it. तो उसमें वो और भी ज्यादा बढ़ता चला जाता है, just keeps increasing. So there can be several symptoms, so to say, of being stressed. Sometimes it impacts our concentration. Sometimes it impacts our confidence. There can be so many ways. I mean, like some of us may be doing emotional eating or drinking too much or whatever. So there are various aspects. And unfortunately, with the pandemic, things have become a little more difficult as far as the mental health is concerned. And all of us have been impacted very badly. And लेकिन जब हम लोग एक दूसरे को पूछते हैं, how are you doing, what is it like, and we invariably say fine, hanging in, I'm doing great. So all the time we are hiding our negative emotions and we are hiding what is actually going on in our heart and in our mind, and we just sort of put up this facade like a mask that we sometimes use for the COVID. I think sometimes we also use this mask to just hide who we are and what is actually going on. But what happens if we hold on to something really, really intensely? If you hold on to coal, for instance, burning coal, what will happen is we will burn our own hands. And unfortunately, when we are holding on to our stress, when we are holding on to this sort of intense negative feelings, then अंदर ही अंदर हम लोग घुलते जाते हैं. In the sense, we ourselves get impacted or hurt by it. So I've written this small poem where I say, I shrugged and said, I don't care. I was hurting, I was angry, but I was too proud. Once I said yes to my suffering, I could finally say yes to healing. And this is an important point I want to make, is that we need to acknowledge to ourselves that we are suffering. We need to acknowledge to our near and dear ones that we are going through a turbulent time or a difficult time, and not just keep pretending that things are okay or they are fine, because sometimes they are not, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, all of us do have moments when things don't go exactly according to plan or anything like that. So, for some Okay, so briefly, Professor Majumdar had spoken about it, that we all have things that we can control and we all have things that we cannot control. Now, tell me, you can unmute yourself and let me know, or you can put it in the chat box. Which of these things do you think is more productive, and which of these things do you think is more unproductive, in terms of worrying over or thinking about either things that we can control versus things that we cannot control? What do you think? Would somebody like to unmute and
The
speak?
things that the thing that we can control, and I think this add to our productivity more
Right,
than, yeah,
right. But what do we normally do? What are the kinds of things we can control, Subhashri?
our action.
Yes,
Or worrying too much, we can like stop, we can convince ourselves not to worry on things that we can't control.
absolutely. We can control our habits, we can control our time, we can control our actions. Can we control other people's time? Can we control other people's actions?
No, ma'am.
नो, बट कितना हम लोग स्ट्रेस लेते हैं, वो ऐसा नहीं कर रहा, आई वॉन्ट दैट पर्सन टू डू दिस एंड दे आर नॉट डूइंग लाइक दिस, or I requested the faculty to do like this and he's not doing it, or my friend I wanted them to do and they are not doing, or the pandemic has come and I have not been able to do. So a lot of our time we are actually focusing on things that we cannot control, because we cannot control when the pandemic will go away, we cannot control what the faculty will do, what the institute will do, what our friends will do. The only thing we can control is how we lead our own lives. And I think once we get that sorted in our head, it becomes a lot easier. But having said that, even I have to say that it is easier said than done in terms of how we control. The other unproductive habit that I think a lot of us have is being a perfectionist. I remember when I was a child, my teachers used to really praise students and say, oh, he or she is a perfectionist, so good, this, that, and the other. But really speaking, being a perfectionist sometimes prevents us from moving forward, because all the time we may be trying to perfect something, we may be trying to improve something to such an extent that we cannot improve it any further, but it prevents us from moving forward. And I think if you see in this diagram, that's why you see that perfectionism is beyond 100%. And we are all scientists and we all know that there is nothing beyond 100%. So we really need to manage our own expectations. I get emails from students with things that, ma'am, I'm not, there is so much of a pandemic, I'm not uh, in the institute, and therefore all these problems are happening and I am doubting myself, or I'm fearing that I will get left behind. So but we're not acknowledging or being compassionate to ourselves about the fact that because of the circumstances that are there, we are all being impacted in a negative way, and that has its own set of problems that we cannot control. Sorry. How do we manage failure? Share some experiences. Do we think that every time, we were talking about meditation earlier, and some of you said that you are trying to do it all and not sort of being able to succeed. But very often, if we accept that, it is not a straight line that takes us to any goal, just like we didn't learn to cycle in one day, we did not learn to walk in one day. Similarly, everything else in our life, whether it is managing time, whether it is learning something new, it is not going to happen in a day. And one of the main things that we can accept in ourselves is that we will try and we might fail, but we might also try again instead of giving up. Very often, what happens is that we When we see it's not happening, what do? We give up. Humse na ho paega. That's a standard line that I hear from my students. They say, ma'am, I can't do it. It is beyond me. I can't do it. But if we embrace the fact that sometimes things will move forward and sometimes they will not, and that's okay. And that's okay. And for those of you who joined early, you would have seen the famous failures video, and I will share it again in the chat box, and you can see it later as well, because that really tells us how everybody in this world does face failure in some way or the other. And unfortunately, what we do is when we face failure, we start to call ourselves bad names. We start to sort of not be positive to ourselves. Idiot, stupid. We'll not say these words to anybody else, but we say them to our own selves. And that then damages our own self esteem, damages our self confidence, and then prevents us again from going forward. And again, negative self talk is a learned behavior. No 6-month-old or 2-month-old child does negative self talk. So it is a learned behavior which we can unlearn. And uh, here's a short video I would like you to see on self compassion, which I think has certain points which really can, if you do them regularly for yourself, I think it's consistency is important. If you do them for yourself, then you can gradually move away from negative self talk, away from constantly expecting yourself to be perfect, constantly expecting yourself to be um, all the time succeeding. And that can then help you be kinder to yourself and actually help you to stay motivated. If we are able to say to ourselves, it's okay, everybody fails once in a while, and it just so happens that I have failed this time, but I will try differently the next time. So, forgiving oneself, being kind to oneself is, I think, really, really important. And it is again something that not enough is spoken about. So, I'll just show this to you and we'll then take it forward from there. I will be sharing some of these things with you later, but and I know that we are short of time. So what I'll do is I'll just uh, okay. So I'll not cover some of my other slides, and I want to just get you to read one poem, and we'll do a short activity which will hopefully help you to understand and bring on a small piece of paper just some things that you can remember at the end of the workshop today. So you have like a bit of a takeaway or something that you can remember some of the things that Professor Majumdar may have spoken, Professor Gadre may have spoken, Professor Prabhu or Professor Kundu as well, or myself as well. So I'll just share this poem with you, and we'll do a small activity after that. So if you have a piece of paper or a pen, that will really help. If you don't have that, can you, while I'm getting ready to share the poem, you can, if you can bring a piece of paper and a pen, then we'll just write a few things at the end of reading of this poem. So, can you, do most of you have a piece of pen and a paper close by? Anybody who doesn't or can't get it sort of quickly, then you can do it on your mobile. I'll just read the poem. A mighty wind blew night and day. It stole the oak tree's leaves away, then snapped its boughs and pulled its bark, until the oak was tired and stark. But still the oak tree held its ground, while other trees fell all around. The weary wind gave up and spoke. How can you still be standing oak? The oak tree said, I know that you can break each branch of mine in two, carry every leaf away, shake my limbs and make me sway. But I have roots stretched in the earth, growing stronger since my birth. You will never touch them, for you see, they are the deepest part of me. Until today, I wasn't sure of just how much I could endure. But now I have found, with thanks to you, I'm stronger than I ever knew. So it's basically about how the oak tree has deep roots in, and if you uh, think of a bargad ka पेड़, any big tree, if you think, it has deep roots. And what I want us, all of us, to think about is which are the roots that you have. And if you would like, we can do this brief exercise where we talk about what are the values that are important to us, what are our strengths, who are the people who support us. These are the roots in our lives. Where all have I succeeded before? You can list your achievements. If you don't, and these are the things that shake us. Resources I lack to succeed, my negative self talk. There are toxic people in each of our lives, people who bring us down. The storms and failures of our life, things we doubt about ourselves. So these are the things which stay on the top. But what is truly important is in the ground, is in the bottom of our values, our people who support. So I just want all of you to take a few moments and try and answer or create a tree for yourself where you are clear what your roots are, and how you can continue to strengthen these roots in your life, such that when problems come, when challenges come, you can actually look at your roots, you can look at things which make you strong, such that you can attempt to overcome or attempt to handle those challenges in a more uh, wholesome or a holistic fashion. So if you would like, we can do this exercise for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we can round up the meeting with just support that's available on campus and things like that. So have most of you taken, what you can do is you can take a picture of this slide and uh, and then sort of just draw it out for yourselves. Anybody who doesn't have, can you raise your hand if you don't have paper at all? How many of you don't have any kind of paper or writing instrument near you? Can you raise your hands if you don't have anything to write on? So most of you have something that you will be able to write on. Can I get some responses at least? Could some of you unmute and say, share something? Okay. Okay. So shall I bring the slide back on and you can, you would like to have that as a reference then? Will that help?
Yes, ma'am, I think it would help more.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just share that slide again because I think it'll help us to just go over. So we can maybe do it for about 10 minutes and then wrap up after that. Does that sound all right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you've completed, just raise your hand or do a thumbs up so we know that most of you have completed or not. And I will be playing some music to help you along with your thought process. So I'm open to any questions. If anybody would like some questions or would like to clarify something. So I'll briefly tell you about the Student Wellness Center. There is a core counseling team that does the individual counseling. We also do the mentor trainings, and there is the website, the self-help website called Bandhu, as well as we are offering online counseling, and there is the Facebook page called I Care IITB, and you can. These are the contact details of the core counseling team in case you would like to take appointments through them for any individual counseling that you might want. I will share some of these links with you, and you can access more information through them. And and that's my Facebook handle as well as the Insta. So anybody who would like to get in touch with me, you can do it through Counselor Shivani on Instagram or on Facebook, I Care IITB. I manage that page. So if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you. Aditya, do you want to share the feedback form?
Hello, ma'am.
Huh.
Yeah.
Share the feedback form
Yeah.
for those who.
Jayant, are you going to share, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine, fine. I think most students
Yeah.
left, so we can maybe. And this is the online semester link. So I'll try and post the. I'll try and post the recording for today's event out there. So if there are no questions, then I know it's getting late because we had promised that we would end by 5:30. So if there are no questions right now, students can contact me later. I'll just post my email ID as well. And so then we can share the feedback form now or later as you wish. How do you guys want to do it?
Guys who are there now can access the Google form, right? So please do fill the Google form about the feedback about the event that had just happened. And rest we will share through mail, man. Like few students we will share through mail.
Huh, that sounds fine then.
Yeah.
So So shall we then close the session? If
Yes, ma'am. Guys, if you have any questions, you can ask ma'am now, or else you can start leaving.
Thanks a lot to ISCP overall coordinators, both of you, Aditya and Jayan. Thanks a lot for all your help, and I hope
Thank
students have
Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. You have done more work than us. Thank you
no,
very
no, no,
much.
no, no, no. And I just hope students have benefited,
Yes,
and we will then hopefully do more such sessions then. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Thanks a lot. So I'll stop recording now, right?
Yeah, ma'am.